So when I was down in Moab, Utah, this kept happening. And now that we're back home, it is time to figure out what the heck was causing that annoying issue. Brought to you in part by Alpine Toyota. And the first practical step, I think, is to figure out what exactly this fuse that keeps blowing is even responsible for. I do know it was a part of the whole standalone ECU package here from Spitronics, but I'm not sure exactly whether it's responsible for maybe the coil packs, injectors, or even the ECU. Okay, so now I seem to be discovering some weirdness. Typically, at least with the stock Toyota ECUs and stuff, when you look at your coil packs, at least one of them with the key switched on will be a constant power. But when I check these, if you look, you'll see a green light. Green light, green light, green light, green light. And the green light means that it's grounded. But with the key on, these all give me a ground signal as well. And the ejectors are pretty much the same way, except I only get a ground signal from the one side. I'm assuming the other side is just directly given power from the ECU. It's funny, it seems the more I'm digging into this thing, the more questions I'm having. So now I'm gonna take apart my dash here a little bit and look at the ECU. I know there is a couple accessory wires coming off of it for like fuel pump relay, which I didn't use. I still use the factory one and wiring for it. And I think there's a fan switch. Maybe, just maybe, those are shorting underneath there because I didn't tie them up nice enough. I don't know. I'm just gonna take a look.
I was able to rule out this theory pretty quickly. I went under the dash, checked all the wires, everything looked great, and even the grounds had a solid connection.
Also, while the truck is down for a little bit, something else I need to adjust is this filter. I hate its location. I want to put the factory air box for the one you see in here, so it uses a normal air filter. Oh. Just look how much dust is like falling off this filter. And taking a look inside, I mean, it did its job. It is clean in there. The throttle body looks mostly clean in there, so it was working. It's just not ideal. All right, since I'm struggling to find any actual issues with anything, my leading theory is the $17 cheapo Rock Auto coil packs. Maybe they're drawing too much power or backfeeding or shorting or something. And to replace those cheap Rock Auto ones, I picked up these OEM ones. You can see they say Volkswagen Auto Group right there. And I picked up 10 of these, used of course, for $100. So these should eliminate any problems that maybe I'm having. We'll see if they fit. Uh-oh. So upon further investigation, if you pull down the seal there, you see there is this outside plastic bit here. And with the boot off the Rock Auto one, if I take my caliper, you can see that this guy is a lot narrower than the OEM ones. That being said, I'm pretty sure I can cut this guy here, and then it should fit in the hole. All right, let's test fit this in the hole now that she's cut. Ooh, that's perfect. So, if I throw the seal back on over top of this guy, should be good to go. So let's seal back on top. Looks good. Ooh. All right, now that I figured out how to get the coil packs to fit in the hole, time to do that 7 more times. Hey guys, time to take a quick break to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Nudon Development. Do you need help designing a new home? Or maybe a fancy new shop to work on your toys? Nudon Developments is the region's largest fixed price builder, which eliminates all surprises at the end of the building process. They have been building for the past 42 years with the focus on time and on budget. Nudon continues to develop residential lots and beautiful acreages here in the East Kootenays. So if you're looking for some space to build a new home or shop, check them out in the description below. Well, I found the issue and I feel kind of stupid for not finding it earlier, but this connector used to be on, well, the coil pack when it was red here, and it used to face backwards, and I guess when the engine rocked, it pinched this connector. You see all those wires and how they're all very exposed in there? Obviously it was shorting there, and that's probably my issue the whole time. I mean, it had to be something stupid, right? You know what? I'm still gonna throw these OEM coil packs in there. I think I like the look of the black more than the red anyways, but... And I'm also now reconfiguring all these plugs so they all face each other like this, in, so that this one doesn't have to be backwards smashing into the firewall anymore. And I mean, that's why that issue even became a thing, I guess. Now that I've figured out what the issue is with these wires shorting here, I've pulled the plug out, I depinned it, and exposed these so they're easy to repair. I got the smallest size heat shrink I can physically fit over top of these blue things. Still a real tight squeeze over top of it. Pull it back, and it's through. And I'm going to take a lighter and melt the shrink. Now, I'm not going to lie, it is a little too big of shrink to properly hold it together, so what I'm doing is I'm pinching the shrink tight after while it's still hot. There we go. So I've got all of the coil packs switched out for the OEM Audi ones that are black. Well, all except one that is pretty difficult to get out, and I'll show you why. Because this guy, this last red one, if you try to pull it out, goes right into the brake booster. So what I need to do to pull that guy out and replace it is to go inside the cab of my truck and then actually unbolt the booster from the firewall and pull it out enough so that I can get this coil pack out. So I guess calling it difficult isn't really fair. It's more or less an inconvenience. All right, the booster is unbolted. So now, we'll pull this guy out as we can. It helps if you disconnect the pedal. All right, I'm back. Pedal is disconnected. Oh, look at that. It moves so much easier, except for it's getting caught on all the brake lines, which is to be expected. I did get this in here with the brake lines in place. I would rather not have to disconnect anything so I don't have to bleed it. That way. There we go. Now, moving on to part 2 of this video, I'm gonna get the actual factory 1UZ intake mounted in this sucker, so I'm not dealing with that stupid little pod filter anymore. I picked up this silicone 45 from Amazon, and with some trimming, I should be able to make this work to connect to the airbox. Ideally, I want the intake pretty much in its home there. I'm gonna use this guy to connect it to. Looks like I'm gonna have to get a little coupler, a little piece of 3-inch in here to attach those, or this boot, to this boot. But I definitely have to cut this guy about there. Take like an inch off of this. Alright, so the silicone 45 is attached, and now I just need to come up with some sort of coupler to go in between those two pieces of pipe. Found my coupler. This is a chunk of 3-inch exhaust pipe. So let's chop off like maybe 2 inches. Should work. And check it out. She's got a real intake now. I guess the only next step is to actually test fire it, because I haven't started it with these coil packs yet. Alright, so now there's just one more thing that I need to fix that I noticed was a bit broken in Moab. If we take a look at my U-joint here, look in here as I rock it back and forth. Yeah, that U-joint is not supposed to move like that. So obviously it's bad, and that is something that I did actually notice while I was in Moab. But unfortunately, other issues that I had at the truck kind of took importance over that, so it never got fixed down there. But I did buy a U-joint to keep in the truck just in case I needed to do a trail repair. Luckily for us, that never happened, but now I gotta fix it at home. I got it out, and then I quickly realized that the other side is way worse. So it looks like I'm doing 2 U-joints. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this week's episode of Dirt Garage, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you could do me a huge favor, smash that thumbs up button, that would be awesome. And hey, consider subscribing. I upload weekly Toyota, building, wheeling, and off-roading content. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Peace.
Let's go. I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get me faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others say I'm